Hi, I'm Sophie, and I haven't seen a lot of movies.
Hi, I'm Paul, and I'm here to help with that. And we are
SP Film Viewers.
Peck, 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 peck. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode. And we are very much blessed to have a special guest with us this time.
Yeah.
Joining us to discuss 1988's Willow. I'd like you to welcome Jon Briggs of Food Fight Studios.
Woo!
And that is the best opening I think SP Film Viewers have had. Not the guest of introing, but just saying peck, peck, peck. I mean, brilliant. Which is like, is that a real word, or is it just something that they made up in the movie? Is it a real insult? Like, are we swearing? Would that be beeped out?
I guess that's what happens. That's like a very safe slur word for little person or something like that, I guess.
I've never heard of it in my entire life.
Yep. So it's definitely something that's made up, I think.
I think it's a made up, so I think it's fair game to use it. So I think we should bring it back. I mean, you already did just bring it back. I think we should bring it back. Not for little people, but like just, no. It's just for the hell of it. Yeah. So thanks, man. Like, what episode are you on now?
I think we are 89, I believe. Yeah. If I'm right in saying that, or 88, 89. Yeah.
I mean, it has taken me this long to get on this show, 89 episodes. I've been like hinting hard, Sophie, to Paul about jumping on this show. I mean, I bought a t-shirt. I mean, you can't see it because we're on the podcast, but I got a t-shirt. Where do you buy those things again? Teespring or something?
Yes, it was one of those sites. Yeah, TeePublic or something like that.
TeePublic, that's definitely
that's
it.
The one. Yeah.
That's it. I mean, every one of your listeners should get that shirt. I mean, you can sleep in it, work out in it, go on a podcast in it. It's like an all-purpose shirt, SP Film Viewers. So highly recommend it. But I had to buy a shirt. I had to hint it to you a couple times. Finally, I was just like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm just going to straight out invite myself to be a guest on this show. You've been nominated for awards, for podcast awards. Paul, you're nominated for an Emmy Award. So it's like, I better get on now before this thing gets so far that I would never be a guest on it. So lucky to be number 89. At least I got into the top 100. So thank you, Sophie and Paul, for having me.
We're very glad to have you. Also, Paul doesn't get subtle hints. I'll just let you know, unless you're being blatantly obvious, it will fly over his head.
It's normally the case, yeah.
Yeah. So. Next time, I'll go right through you, Sophie. I will. I'll go right through you. Yeah. To see if we can get on the show. So
definitely, I think everybody does that, especially your family and friends. They bypass you. Come to me. Yeah.
So no,
I'm a fan of the show. So I know we want to talk about Willow. One of the things I want to chat about, like little crossover here, because we'll get right into Willow after that, or it's your show. You tell me what you want to do. But I have a bone to pick with both of you for your Scott Pilgrim episode, which I respect it, but I was like, how could you say Scott Pilgrim could be Tom Holland over Mike? Go check that episode out. You can agree, disagree, but a little crossover episode. Scott Pilgrim is like one of the best shows of all time. I give that a 9 if I had to rate it. If I was on that show, if I was asked to be a guest on that show,
but you weren't for some reason. Why was that, Paul?
I didn't know John loved it so much. If he did, maybe said. I should have said. I think at that point it was kind of like those were the earlier days, and it's kind of just getting going, really. And
to be fair, though, you really like Scott Pilgrim, don't you?
Yeah, I like the.
Did I ruin it?
No. I think it was definitely the music. The soundtrack's amazing, and played the video game. Did you ever play the video game, John? Of the little
never played
2D platform, like a side scroll, like Street Fighter type.
I didn't know there was a game like that, but I would love to check that out. I might have to do it. You'll learn something.
It's on. I think they've re-released it on the Switch and like PlayStation Store and Xbox and stuff. So yeah, I think it's on like the the digital store. So if you look on there, you probably find it.
I love it. The and you said the soundtrack's amazing. I agree, but the only song I remember is that Sade song, "I'll Be There," something like that, which is like Sade's best song. But I can't remember any other song on there.
Not even like the.
Do you remember?
We Are Sex Bomb and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can remember
all the band stuff and all the other things.
All the band stuff.
Yeah.
You guys did it. It was actually really in-depth analysis of it, to the point where, I mean, it's one of my top 20 favorite movies, and I didn't even put two and two together that there's all these Marvel characters in there. I didn't put two and two together that's just it's an A-lister or former A-lister, B-listers. All these actors became really famous after that stuff. So you guys,
that's right. Yeah.
Very, very good episode. I recommend anybody that hasn't listened to that one that might like Scott.
Get out there, people. Never listen. It's on the back catalogue. Yeah. Especially as we're getting to 100, we want to, if you've missed a few, there's a lot to go through.
It definitely is. And I've learned so much through this, because the whole reason why we do it is because, well, I don't really watch much film, do I? I do now. I can't stop watching them, I think. It's the opposite. But I think when Paul first met me, I would only like chick flicks. I wouldn't like anything scary, anything like that. So I actually think the first time I watched Lord of the Rings, which is definitely bringing me to Willow, I think I might
have vibes. Yeah.
Fallen asleep.
It's quite a long film.
It's like 3 hours or something ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah. Lord of the Rings. It's so long.
And there's 3 of them. Yeah.
I love Lord of the Rings. Definitely Willow, but we get into that stuff for sure. I'm for movie wise, I'm the opposite. Like, I don't have time to watch many movies now unless they're kids movies with my kids. So I love all the, Paul and I are in the animation industry. So I'm watching I'm fortunate enough to have kids 8, 6, and almost 2 that I get to watch cartoons and stuff, and I'll be studying, taking notes, taking pictures out in the movie theater of like Boss Baby 2, because I love the composition scenes and stuff. That's about all the movies I watch. But when I was younger, I had like no supervision, so I was watching when I was a young kid. I was watching like Twilight Zone when you're like 7, like all these adult movies, nasty stuff, gory stuff that I was watching. Willow is one of them, and Willow is one that stuck with me. That to the point I didn't need to rewatch it for this episode. I'm that confident that we can hash it out because it's a badass movie.
Well, before we get into that, I know we've probably gone a little bit long with the intro and stuff, but just a little brief, if you want to just talk briefly about the studio, Food Fight Studios, gives a bit of a rep, big up on what we do, because obviously I work with you and some other team members at Food Fight Studios doing animation.
Yeah, man. Have you ever brought it up on the show before?
Occasionally, yeah, I think, but not in depth. But obviously, you've got actual food fighter with us on this time, so
yeah, gotta bring it up. So, how long have you been? How long have we been working together? Like 4 years, almost 5 years.
Yeah, in fact, I looked today, and it was according to LinkedIn, it was it's 4 years and 8 months been part of the team.
Yep, I have it, and I have your little anniversary on the calendar. I remember when we first started hanging out. So it's been fun, man. Been fun working with you. And Food Fight in an animation studio. Then we do a bunch of different things. But Paul is our head character designer. So it's been amazing. He's the go-to guy that we go to when we need something drawn really well, or we need a character design, whether it be a cool looking dragon or get the likeliness of a certain person that we work with, which our niche is we animate any type of audio, right? So it could be a music video, it could be a podcast, it could be a documentary film. Essentially, people that just either want to give their audio some new life, or they just have crazy audio that they don't know what the hell to do with it, like Newton's second law of motion. Go animate that, right? When they're trying to explain something like that for a documentary. So that's where Food Fight has started, is just animating crazy audio, and we've done a really good job with doing that and making the relationships just keep asking us to do more stuff because we just get stuff done, right? So it's like, animate my podcast. Oh, I have a book coming out. Can you do an animated mini series or a book trailer? Oh, they have a docu-series. Can you do that? Or I have a concert in 26 days. Can you do that? So we've really been the go-to guys in this like influencer, actor, musician world that we've just been mostly animating, but sometimes doing some video editing and stuff as well. But that's it in a nutshell, man. And you are you are the second animator that was jumped on, well, the third animator total, but the second animator of the team as we became from Fight. So you've been here pretty much since the beginning, which has been very cool, man. What about you? You like it, or would you tell me now to the people? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Yes, I like it. I like it very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love being part of the team, and hoping to keep the ball rolling with it for years to come.
100%, man. Ball is rolling. So all good stuff. So appreciate that, and sorry for the long intro.
Oh, absolutely.
No worries. I'm talking too much.
No, that's okay.
Never.
No, it's fine.
He has to put up with me, so he knows what talking too much is like.
Right. Okay. So on to Willow.
Willow.
So directed by Ron Howard and written by George Lucas. So you kind of get that kind of Star Wars vibe anyway, a little bit, especially as Warwick Davis played one like the Ewoks, I think. Well, I know he did.
That's true.
Yeah, in the early days when the Return of the Jedi stuff. Have you seen many of the Ron Howard films, John?
Yeah, I mean, he's done so many. I don't know all the ones that he's done and stuff like that, but yeah, no, he's super famous over this way. I know that I've done. I mean, name some that he's done. I'll tell you if I've seen it. I
think didn't he do like an Apollo 13? Or
yeah, I didn't see that one.
I can't actually think of any on top of the head, but I know he's like super prolific in terms of he's a well-known filmmaker and he's done quite a lot of good body of work. But I just shame to say I can't think of any at the top of my head.
And you're not going to get anything out of me.
I know, just got to make something up. No one would know the difference at this point. He was a child actor, right? So he was in Lassie, I think he was in like the 60s. Did you know that?
Oh, Lassie the dog.
Yeah, I think he's the kid. Ron Howard's the kid in that show.
Oh right, I didn't know. I don't. Yeah. I'm not seeing that. So I know of Lassie, but
have you not seen it? I've not seen it either. It's an actual film we have neither seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the show, right? So when I grew up, there was only like 6 stations. I think there was like 9 stations actually. You go right, and so there was not a lot of new shows on or anything like that. So you just watch all the old black and white shows, the same ones that were on when your parents were around. So Lassie was one of those things, and it was a show that I watched. And so when I didn't just come. You don't just come on. You don't get asked or be led on SP Film Viewers. Because I wasn't asked, but you don't get led on SP Film Viewers without doing some homework. So I wanted to make sure I came in and did my research with Willow. So I found a Ron Howard interview. I thought awesome. He's this prolific director. He's going to give us this interview on Willow specifically. It's going to be insightful that I'll be able to drop audience bombs to or drop some bombs to your audience.
Yeah.
And he talks about how the little people in the village were party so hard that when they would, this is from his mouth to our ears.
Yeah. That
when during the day on lunch breaks, the prop houses would be shaking because they would be having orgies in there. These, so I'm not gonna, he didn't say it was Warwick Davis or this person, but if you go on imdb.com, that's what they have as the official Ron Howard interview.
Oh, right.
And I thought I was going to be able to keep some insightful stuff. Check it out. Promise you that. So anyways. There you go. There's the bomb. There's the bomb for your audience.
That's amazing. You wouldn't have thought that, would you, at all, looking at this film?
Really not. Fairly tame. It's like a 12 rated, wasn't it, or whatever the equivalent of the United States thing. Is that PG-13?
Yep. Yeah. And this is one of the nuggets that I did find, because I don't know. The movie opens up. I tried to watch this one during lockdown. I tried to let we got Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. So I was Willow, these nostalgic movies. Let's try to watch it with my kids. The opening scene, they were like, I ain't watching this stuff. They were freaked out. So I shut it off. But the opening scene I read is different in England. In order to get your 12 rating, ours is PG-13.
Okay.
But do you have the scene when the opening scene when those crazy looking dogs basically attack and kill the woman, the old lady?
Yeah. It's okay. That's about the time when she kind of sends the baby down river like Moses, basically, and then the dogs come out. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
That happened. Yeah, we saw that. Yeah. And it was I know, because you mentioned it beforehand. It's like these your kids wouldn't watch because of the dogs. That these like pig rats almost. They kind of look like a cross between I think they were. I can imagine they'd be pretty terrifying for a kid. I didn't see this when I was a kid myself, but for a young child, I would imagine that'd be like pretty scary seeing something that
I
like
would
that
have
run
been
up
absolutely petrified as a young child seeing those. I know for a fact.
Yeah, we didn't get past that scene, and I think from what I read that when it was opened in England, they took that scene out so it could hit your 12 rating.
Oh, okay.
So there's a few scenes that are taken out in the original ones that if you're watching on Disney Plus now, I think you're seeing the version that I saw that was frightening.
Yeah.
And I think there's 4 or 5 things with this movie that I always reference back to it. So someone says like, "Oh, there's a scary dog over there," stuff. I was like, was it how scary? Like, did it look like the dog in Willow? Because if it didn't, they're not that scary, right? So like, that's the scariest looking dog ever. Is one thing. The part, I guess, do you go in order when you do these things? Are we gonna go like progress through the movie like that, or are we just gonna shoot the
we
shit?
try.
Yeah,
we're never
try
great with it though.
we can jump around as need be, so it's fine. It's kind of loosey.
So I'll stop it. I'll stop it there because when we meet Mad Mardigan, there's another thing that I always think about, Willow related and things like that. But but you mentioned it had Moses vibes. So Sophie mentioned it had Lord of the Rings vibe, right? I feel like this whole movie, it was like the easiest thing in to write, because it's like the story starts off with Moses, right? They put the baby exactly how is in the Bible, right? Because because the king is gonna kill, or in this case it's
a queen.
Babmorda, is that her name? Queen Babmorda.
Queen, Babmorda, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. So that's Moses right then and there. Then it he finds the baby. There's this big quest. I mean, it's Lord of the Rings ×2 right there, where they're saying like, who's going to go on the quest with this stuff? The whole movie is written for like George Lucas got lazy.
Right? It really does look like Lord of the Rings. Even certain shots, like, so for example, when they're hiding. So obviously we're skipping a bit. Obviously, Willow has actually got the baby, and they're going on to the mission, and it's like, even the guards, the people that are bad going after them, they remind me of people in Lord of the Rings on horses.
The Shadow Riders, and all that, yeah.
And then they're hiding down that bank.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is literally, so in my head, I know Lord of the Rings first. So
I think it was the same as well, actually, in watching it. So obviously Peter Jackson was obviously clearly heavily inspired, because this came out in 1988. So he's probably seen this thinking, oh, that looks a great shot of them walking over the hills in the distance and stuff, and over the mountains and stuff. And
it feels like it's like for like shots. And so no wonder he was able to do 3 hours of it, because he was just copying Willow, really.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the whole world. The whole world's just copying off each other at this point.
Yeah, and the fact that obviously the little where Willow lives, and it's kind of like what the hobbits live like, Hobbiton, that kind of thing as well. So it's it's quite scary when you're thinking, oh, this is like so strange that this was before what most people will have seen Lord of the Rings. Not many people might not have seen Willow, to be fair. Kind of like gone under the radar. But I guess it's a bit of a cult film, isn't it? Really, I guess.
For me, in my childhood, my generation, like Willow is like very well known.
Oh, okay.
So, but now it's just starting to get a new life by being on Disney Plus. But nobody after me knows what the hell. Willow, what are you talking about? It's one of those movies though that you could come back and watch. It doesn't need to have crazy special effects like the old Sinbad movies. You can't watch that anymore because of the special effects now. Like
I get what you mean.
You could watch it again.
Because like when you've seen like, was it Clash of the Titans and the stop motion? You were a bit like, it was a bit ropey with the.
It just looked too obvious that it was kind of
stop motion. Yeah.
But with Willow, I feel like it was still gruesome and a bit scary, and the actual kind of the way that they did certain things. Like there was one part with the trolls, really jumping now to like the end stage, where he kind of like combusted. And that was really graphic, and I was like, oh my goodness,
that was another thing that's quite surprising. I'd not seen it in a good while, and I'd forgotten about this thing where that troll kind of looks like a monkey in a suit, basically, like the one from 2001 or something. But he kind of like was like dies, disintegrates or whatever, and he kind of like peels his skin off, and he reveals this like.
It looks like his flesh brain. Underneath,
and then it falls into the water below, and then that's where it transforms into that 2-headed like Hydra monster thing. I presume is that what you were referring to earlier, John, about that? What you remember, I imagine.
Yeah, I remember that thing. I mean, that thing looks just just that thing is so ugly looking that it's hard to look at even as like an adult because it just looks weird, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It looks scary as hell. But yeah, look, that movie is amazing. Like, so the movie, I mean, the movie starts out with like, little people or dwarves or whatever, whistling and doing fiddles and having a festival, exactly like, the Shire, right?
Yes. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Just no fireworks.
Right. Yeah. It's the first time that we ever, I think most Americans knew that they saw Warwick Davis, where he became famous in that movie, right? And that's what you think it. But then, years later, when Harry Potter comes out, and it's like, oh, that dude's in, one of the bankers or something, and then it'll be trivia that he was the leprechaun in that scary movie, the Leprechaun.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Right?
Yeah.
You said he was an Ewok, so, but this is the first time that we ever saw Warwick Davis in America, and is he like super famous in England?
Yeah, he's got his own game show and
I'm sure he's been in the pantomime as well.
Yeah.
I don't know
Things
if
like that.
John knows. I'm guessing, do they have the pantomime? He's looking at me completely blank.
No, they're like, I was best to describe it. I think like a little theatre production thing, but it's definitely more for kids, like a retelling of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, I guess.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Or Sleeping Beauty or Aladdin or something like that.
There's normally the phrase of he's behind you. So like if a villain's coming.
It's very campy, basically.
It feels like an old kind of school kind of show, doesn't it? Where the audience interacts.
I guess a bit like maybe a Punch and Judy show. Do you know what that is? A puppet show? No.
Yep.
I'd love to take John to a pantomime because I don't know how he would react to it. You'd either love it or hate it, I think.
All right. Nothing in between.
Yeah, I used to go to the pantomime every Christmas, so it was like a Christmas kind of show you'd go to. And Warwick Davis, I'm pretty sure I've probably seen him at the pantomime.
Yeah, even what's he called now? Who plays Tyrion Lannister in Game of Thrones? He was also in the pantomime over here as well, was he? I think
he was.
Yeah.
So it is a big thing. Is pantomime over in the UK? It is.
Maybe it's more.
Maybe you'll have to Google it and see what you can find and let us know what you think.
Yeah,
I will. I will. The pantomime. All right.
Yeah, but no, he's quite well known over here. Warwick Davis is. Yeah.
Well, you always tell me off because if anybody is on a TV show and they are dwarfs or smaller people, I always go, "Is that Warwick Davis?" And Paul's like, there are other people out there, not just Warwick Davis, but he is the main one in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't want to say it because he was on TV, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's Warwick Davis, and I'm thinking I don't want to say it because I always say it, but I didn't say it.
Yeah. I said, I think you must have said it. Oh, I
you looked at me because you could see like this puzzled, confused, like, should I ask this question? But such a young Warwick Davis, really
at that point.
Yes, it was his first big role, I think, that he was at least leading in America for sure. But look, that movie is so badass. The characters are amazing. I think all the characters like have some of the characters, like the pantomime, you either love them or you hate them, right? So but even the ones that you hate are really good, like the big bully dwarf and stuff like that. Like then he's so annoying and things like that. But like it's just a really good character. Like the brownies, the little brownie dudes are great characters, you know, so they all have really cool names.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because they're quite creative as to how they came up with those kind of, sort of like the peck thing is like a nice, simple insult, I guess, not like to be discriminative or anything.
Bringing it back. We're bringing it back.
Yeah. But I think, with the brownies, that I don't know if it's how it looked back in the day, like maybe seeing it on like a VHS tape or a DVD copy, but to be honest, the way that they kind of interlaid, that's the right word, the footage over the top, so that obviously it looked like they were with them within the scene, obviously, because they were shrunk down to a scale and everything. So I think that worked pretty well. I didn't see any really like, oh look, that looks really bad or anything like that. It worked. Sometimes you see these films and look, that's obviously against a green screen or something like that. So they did a pretty good cleanup, I think, on the transfer of watching this on Disney Plus anyway. So
yep, it's an early Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
What is your favorite character out of in Willow, other than Willow? Or you could say Willow, but what's your second favorite if you say Willow?
I've got mine.
Go on,
yeah, let's hear
it. You're going to tell me off, probably. Am I going to say his name wrong? Probably. Is it Mad Madigan? I actually feel like I love to hate him. And as well, when he takes his top off, well, you can't really complain at that, can you? I'm just saying. So
I wouldn't complain.
But I would not complain. He's
Mad Mardigan.
Yeah, I think he's one of those characters where he has the most character development, and that's something I always love. So he grows quite a lot in this film. Initially, he's in a cage, and you think he's a troublemaker. And by the end of it, he really, really has a heart of gold. And that progression throughout the film is just something that I enjoy seeing, because it's how people should, you start off rough and ropey and you make better of yourself. And that's what Mad Madigan does.
Yeah, it's very boring if the character doesn't change how he acts throughout the film. He's kind of just the same.
And he's a bit of a lovable kind of character. Yeah. Even though you kind of want to hit him sometimes, you can't stay mad at him for long, can you?
No, I think that's just really how he's supposed to be portrayed, really, kind of this like, oh, I hate you kind of thing, but I love you at the same time, because he's just being like very suave and witty with how he's saying things and stuff. But yeah, I like that scene where he's obviously having a fling with somebody's wife, and then he comes like dresses up and got the melons, whatever he's got under, they pretend he's a woman. He's like, oh no, I must leave now, kind of thing. And I love how the guy in the bar is like, oh, do you want to breed? And I was like thinking, well, your wife's just there, man.
It's your cousin.
Or something.
Like,
ooh.
Yep. So it's the guy. So he was cheating on. So the wife was cheating with him, but then the guy comes and catches them, and he pretends to be a female, and then the guy tries to hit on Mad Mardigan, who he thinks is a woman, and that stuff. So it's so you can't be too. So I mean, just even that makes him. That almost takes away, like, so he does a bad thing there, right? But it almost takes that away when you see that bad guy come in. So I think they were brilliant in the way that they wrote that character and things like that, because you're no longer mad that he's like, hooking up with somebody's wife, because that guy is now trying to, and cheat on her in front of him too. So that first scene is another one of those scenes that I always refer back to with Willow. If I'm ever like so thirsty, or I see someone's like lips dry or something like that, like I instantly get a flashback to that scene in the cage where he's like needs water, and then Willow spills it on him, and he's like sucking his fingers and stuff like that, right? So it's like, if I'm ever thirsty, it's like, well, are you as thirsty as Mad Mardigan was in Willow in that cage? So it's my number 2 of things that always pop in my head with Willow.
Yeah, that's funny.
I love that idea of thinking, am I that thirsty?
Right.
I'd hope you never get that thirsty.
I know, me either. Or in a cage left to die. I hope whenever that happens either.
Yeah,
that is probably the worst way to go, isn't it? Because I'd overthink about it. Like, how am I going to die? That would be literally it. It would like be torture. I think I'd prefer it to be quick and it be over and done with, probably.
Yeah,
that'd be the best way.
No.
Yeah, that's just really cruel, isn't it? Mm-hmm. But it's good because he ends up living. So in the end,
he's the greatest swordsman. And what is this? The greatest swordsman in what? Is that what ever lived? The greatest swordsman ever lived, I think.
He claims that, but it's kind of like leads you to believe, well, he's just saying that because obviously he's one of these cocky, sure of himself guys.
Oh yeah.
As you would think from first glance, you're thinking, yeah, he's just saying that just because he wants to get out of the cage and just showing off.
To be fair, I wouldn't have trusted him. If I was Willow, I wouldn't wanted to.
Well, rightly so. It's like, oh, give me the baby, and
no.
But then he shortly loses it anyway after a short while anyway. But the little brownies take him away, the baby away, which is what's she called, Elora. Yeah. Which,
I mean, that is a cute baby.
Yeah,
cute baby.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
They've done so well with how to capture her expressions.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. Her face lights up when she sees Willow, so they must be shaking something, or for her to kind of even have that expression, it's fantastic. And even her concerned looks work well.
Right, her concerned looks were great.
What? Yeah,
the concerned looks look great. I wish I wonder what she's up to now. Like, I wonder what what they look like now. The baby from from Willow? What does Laura look like? She had to become an actress, or because she was doing pretty well back then. You would think that she was born to be an actress.
Definitely.
No.
So I'm sorry, I digressed obviously deeply into Madigan, and you guys didn't get to say who your favorite character was. So John will start.
I love it.
You first.
No, I love it. I love that you digress that. He's definitely my favorite character too. So that's probably why I stuck on it too. I think that whole that whole thing is filled with awesome characters, with the exception of like even Willow kind of talks annoying sometimes. Like it's like, oh man, he says like baby, like I can't even do the accent, but you know, he's just kind of annoying in that movie sometimes.
I can get that.
Migosh, Migosh is like too nice, right? I mean, he's like what's the character in Lord of the Rings that he would be? Sam, right? Sam. Yeah. He's like Samwise Gamgee is Migosh, right? It's the same damn character, and they're both kind of like too nice and annoying too. So, the wizard was badass. You can't, and then I always liked that bad guy with the half skull, just because he looks so badass.
He reminds me of something of Game of Thrones. That's where that takes me.
Yeah, like I said, there's other things like that refer to Game of Thrones as well, that like inside the castle and on like that throne room where the queen sits. It's a bit like reminds me of obviously with the Iron Throne in that room.
Yeah,
there's vibes of that as well. So maybe there's inspiration for that from down years down the line. But for me, I think Madigan is a great character. He's very charismatic and everything. Yes. But I do quite like the elder wizard in the where Willow lives with all the others and everything. There's this way kind of like, it's really like with the thing with these like doing the bones. The bones don't tell me anything, but it's like, oh well, no, Willow is the one to do the quest and stuff. Kind of like just playing it off, or like the bird. It's like, oh, just ignore the birds, forget that. Yeah. Just go that way instead. It's like just a charlatan, basically. Yeah.
Yep. And the way they do that is so funny because it's comical, because it's kind of like Monty Python type stuff without that much humor, but it is almost more funny because he is like the townspeople believe him and that stuff, and he's like off to the side like, the bones don't tell me anything, right?
Yes.
So he's like, the bones have spoken. So yeah, he is a good character as well.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. He's no Gandalf though, is he?
No.
No.
Sorry,
that's true. It's true.
At least Gandalf knew what he was doing. Well, he made us think he did anyways.
Yep.
Yeah, he stuck around long as well.
So that's like one of the few parts that George Lucas didn't gank off of something, I guess. But I bet you if we look hard enough, we'll be able to figure out a character that was like that wizard guy.
Yeah. With the Lucas stuff, I noticed, because I've seen the start of the original trilogy of the Star Wars films, a lot of like the wipe effects and stuff that, like transitions into scenes that kind of look very very similar to what was in Star Wars. Yeah, I thought it was a little thing that kind of noticed, like, that's very much Lucas.
And I was wrong too. So he was in the Andy Griffith Show, which is pretty much like Lassie, I think, right? But you get it mixed up. He was like the boy in Andy Griffith's Show, which was an American show, not Lassie. I think I said Lassie earlier. Right. I was trying to figure out what other movies, he was in Happy Days as an actor. I was trying to figure out what other movies he's been that he directed before we ended. You couldn't call it SP film viewers if you didn't know Ron Howard movies, I guess, other than Willow. So I was trying to figure out other movies from Ron Howard.
Yeah, by means.
No luck yet, though.
Right. Yeah.
But I do think the way that this film kind of, for me, it was 2 hours, wasn't it? I think
2 hours and a bit, just over 2 hours, yeah.
Now I don't know if you know, John, I really like a nice tidy film. Maybe an hour and a half is really good for me normally. I think I've got an attention span of a goldfish otherwise. And I might need an interval break or something like that. But this one didn't seem that bad, actually, for the length of the film. Lord of the Rings, I don't know why it needs to be that long.
Sometimes I do wonder that, but...
And there's 3 of them, like, that long, which, don't get me wrong, I love The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. It's brilliant now that I've rewatched it. I'm not going to lie, though, they merge in together.
Mm-hmm.
For me, like, I could probably think Bilbo Baggins and then what's Frodo should be the same version. But Willow, I feel like it was definitely inspired, and it's such a smaller film. And also the age of the film is definitely creditable to how the graphics, the way that they have certain aspects and elements that feel real still. And it gives you that kind of fantasy, early fantasy field of the film.
Yeah, it's almost got, because of a lot of it seems to be shot in like daytime as well. It's not like really dark and moody or anything like Lord of the Rings. It kind of like almost like Sunday afternoon kind of like watch kind of things, like, you know, something you see on TV and just like for enjoy and just relax with, really, because it's not like a PG rated film, so it's a bit higher than that, but it really comes across as like very jovial in terms of like anyone can enjoy this, really. But it's a little bit dark, but not too dark for everyone to enjoy. So
it's on Disney Plus, so it can't be too dark, I guess. Although they have some stuff on there that should be on there probably. But yeah, it's Willow. Willow is I think is exactly that. I think it's like it's on the borderline where you would want to watch with your kid. It is on the borderline of PG-13, basically, right? So whereas a lot of PG-13, like even Marvel movies are PG-13, right? But for the most part, you're okay with your kid watching, Thor or something like that if you have to.
It does seem strange for me, though, to think that Marvel is now Disney. I don't know. I feel like that should be a different entity.
And Star Wars.
It seems bizarre. So like walking into the Disney shop now, and then there's like...
Captain America and Iron Man on the wall. Yeah.
Because normally I'm used to seeing Mickey Mouse, Tigger.
Now you see Iron Man as Mickey Mouse, or Goofy as...
Right behind me.
Yeah, Donald Duck.
Yes.
It's true. But they had nowhere else to go. There's only so much they could go with those characters. They just started acquiring, absorbing, and like they are going to make so much money. So from a business standpoint, brilliant. But yeah, there should be, Marvel World instead of, I guess it is kind of Universal, right? But Marvel World instead of just Disney World, because they're definitely like Peter Pan is like different from friggin' Hulk, right?
There's a crossover. That would be pretty funny.
Peter Pan, Neverland, like Hulk goes to Neverland. What's cool though is they can do crossovers now. I mean, they infinitely creative they could be now, doing crazy crossovers. Probably not Peter Pan and Hulk. I would not pass that job interview if that's what the suggestion I gave them, but it just popped off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's so many crossover stuff that they could do now. I mean, the Willow, right? They could do. They own that. Willow is their property now because of Lucasfilm. Right.
Yeah.
So they bought. I assume that they own Willow. So I'd love to see a Willow too. I don't know. What about you two?
Sorry, say that.
What do you think Willow 2 would be about?
Oh, Willow 2.
What do you think Willow 2 would be about?
Yeah, I guess like almost like Laura grown up a little bit. Because obviously we kind of obviously going right to the end now. It kind of like very much wraps up without much explanation. It's not like right. Now they're Mad Madigan and I forget her name now. The woman he was kind of like, I hate you, but now I love you kind of thing.
Sorsha.
Yeah, that's the one.
I did love that. I'm not gonna lie. That kind of relationship. It reminds me of when you're at school. Like the boys always try and be mean to you, and you're like, why are they so mean to me? But actually, it's because they really like you, so they're being horrible. And that's kind of this naive. Kind of innocent relationship blossoming, but they're fully grown adults.
Same vibe.
Yeah, so then because it's kind of like that. Guessing they're taking care of Elora now, so it's not really doesn't really explained as such. Kind of like it's not like I will take care of her now. We'll look after her and make sure that she grows up to be like the new queen or whatever. And then it's like then Willow just goes back to his house and then in the village, and then that's it kind of thing. But so I'd like to see that more developed into like, Willow goes to see Elora when she's more like a young queen.
That'd be lovely. That would be. Yeah.
I don't know what the threat would be this time. Maybe, I don't know, some other like rival thing wants to take the throne instead. You're more entitled. Brute or something comes along and I don't know what that would really progress, but
and Willow saves the day again. Is that what you're saying?
He's because obviously he's in good stead between them. So thank you for getting me, keeping me alive all this time, or something like that. That'd be good.
Yep. I would love to see Willow too. I have no idea. I mean, they could. I don't know. Have you seen what Val Kilmer looks like these days? Have you seen? There's like a new documentary.
Yeah,
That, I want to watch it. I haven't gotten to watch it yet, but like about him basically surviving from throat cancer. But so he's not looking good. Although they could put that into the storyline, pretty cool. Like maybe got in a sword fight or something, and took one to the jugular or something. That could be kind of cool if you wanted to play that up a little bit. That could be Willow too. We're starting already, right? If they're going to copy, we might as well start copying, right? So let's mash some stuff up. We'll just take the Bible, we'll take Lord of the Rings, we'll take Val Kilmer's documentary, and we'll just mash it up and make Willow 2. Do it.
I think it'd be really good. I actually thought, because obviously when going into these films, I only read a little bit at the back and I don't really know anything that I'm going into. And I think I saw the front kind of Disney Plus kind of screen.
Yeah.
And I thought it was Elora grown up was the one that Mad Mardigan was I love you, I hate you relationships. I thought I was going to get to see that just from the image, because obviously she's still got that red hair.
Yeah, you thought the baby was going to
grow up. So I was waiting in this film thinking, when is she going to grow up? She doesn't.
Yeah. And we're going all over the place, but in a good way, because I think it's crazy. Yes to that 100%. I wonder if there's any link to that. But also Lord of the Rings ripoff. That elf fairy that kind of pops in.
Yeah,
is the same elf fairy that pops in and is like, she's chosen you, Willow.
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
100%.
Right? This whole thing is a ripoff. And they got away with it. It was before the litigious days or something, but like they got away with this.
But it makes me feel like Willow, I feel like Lord of the Rings is kind of taken obviously for Willow, but in my perspective, it's the other way around, because obviously I haven't seen Willow and I've seen Lord of the Rings. So I feel like Willow's copied Lord of the Rings in my head, even though it's not true.
The case.
What?
Yeah.
Yes and no, though, because Lord of the Rings was written way before then. So
technically, yes, it was by Tolkien. Yeah.
So and look, they all copy of each other. Game of Thrones is kind of like a Lord of the Rings / War of the Roses mashup, right? So, man, I'll tell you one thing: if we started doing something like that, like Disney would be like suing the hell out of us for doing something like that. But I bet you Willow was completely copied off of. I'm telling you, you can't take all those parallels away from like Moses, the fairy that we just talked about, Migosh, Samwise Gamgee. There's just too many that fit the bill. That stuff. Even the swordsman, the opening scene in Lord of the Rings, looks a little bit like Mad Mardigan. I remember seeing him and being like, oh man, it's kind of like Mad Mardigan right there, right? So
yeah.
It's just, I guess, just whatever you saw one is the one that got copied first. Is the reference.
The only thing that probably isn't the same with Lord of the Rings is that what's the Rizal, which is obviously you see Rizal like a possum or whatever it is.
It's really
muskrat. Is a muskrat is an animal? I've not even really heard of that as a term of. Yeah. Is that what it looks like? Is that more of an American animal? I've certainly never seen.
We have muskrats here. Yeah.
I can't imagine we do. Do they need warm weather? Because they won't be here otherwise.
Europe. It's native to America, North America, and it's introduced into Europe. So you got some just like the coronavirus, you got like a Mu virus or something, like a Mu variant. You got some weird variant of muskrat over in Europe at this point that you gotta stay away from. But yeah, we got muskrats here. Yeah,
but it's kind of funny with that whole, Willow's trying to cast a spell to bring him in, back to a human form and everything. And obviously, he's kind of like, you need to concentrate, and everyone's like distracting him all the time. So he's kind of like, she turns into a crow or raven or whatever, and then it's a goat. It's like,
a raven. We just got another Game of Thrones reference there, right?
Yeah, definitely.
A raven. So it's and that was written. Well, they're all copying each other, basically, is what it is. But that was another one that stuck with me, and not in a good way. Was there's like an 80-year-old naked person in the as you're watching this movie, that's like, what the heck? Like when you're a little kid, you're not thinking like you're ever going to see an 8-year-old naked person in a movie.
That's true, yeah.
Like that, right? And that stuck with me in that space. But but that's another one. Willow just there's a lot of things that stick with you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's one of them.
Was the people transform into those like pigs?
Oh, I didn't like that. I remember
when
not
kind of
liking
like
that.
Humanoid pigs, and then they just cut to them all being actual pigs. But that whole transformation, you're a bit like American Werewolf in London almost, where it's like again with the teeth and becoming all gruesome. That's pretty grim. Yeah.
Kind of like Pinocchio. I guess, right? Pinocchio turned to the donkey. So I purposely didn't watch this movie. What's good, look, if you hear the way I talk about Willow and remembering like Egosh and Sorsha, I am like, that's the opposite of me. I don't remember anything about movies. I don't remember characters' names, plot lines, quotes. You can tell me a quote in any movie, I can't figure it out. But Willow is just one of those ones that's always stuck with me, which for some weird reason, probably because it was written so well, and maybe it was a part of my time when I watched it. But Willow is one of maybe a handful of movies that I don't need to rewatch it to be able to know it, but I don't remember the pig dudes, so maybe I need to.
It was definitely at the end, wasn't it? And it wasn't there for long, to be fair.
No. It's when they were kind of approaching the Queen at the gates, which again looked like the gates at Helm's Deep.
That's right.
Mordor.
Exactly. Another one. Right, when they're all like hiding and stuff like that before they get. I mean, that's like season 3 of Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
When they're all hiding down there and stuff with the ships. I mean, there's a lot to be said, but it also maybe that's just those types of stories are just so badass that they work, and different variations of them are working. There's a million like Freaky Friday movies out there, right? Like there's a million versions of like Parent Trap, or like the mom becomes the daughter, and they're all called different things. So I guess we just gotta accept Willow, Lord of the Rings, Moses. They're all
I love how we mentioned Parent Trap and Freaky Friday. Like I used to love Parent Trap with Lindsay. Is it Lindsay Lohan?
Yeah.
And when I was younger, that was my favorite movie. I wanted to be a twin actually with my sister, even though she's 2 years older than me.
So people do refer to you as twins.
They do think we're twins, and I never know if it's an insult to me, meaning I look 2 years older, or Sarah's just very youthful and looks 2 years younger, or we're both the same age, but which age?
Not identical twins.
Yeah. Sometimes it's best not to know, but as you get, sometimes it's best not to know, but it doesn't matter, I guess, right? I've had this baby face forever, so I've always looked much younger so I would always love to be looking too old, 2 years older. And I started getting like gray hair and stuff, and I just look like I had like a genetic defect. So that's
I still get ID'd to be fair in the stores at the moment, so you're really lucky, Paul, even though I don't think now with your new haircut.
I haven't tried to buy alcohol with this new dude, so
yep. Well, I was talking this with Paul. What's the drinking age over there in England?
18, but you still get ID'd to be, you have to look 21 or 20.
That's in Asda, so I think that's because it's probably linked to Walmart, isn't it?
Walmart, yeah.
All right, so it's 21 here. It's so it's 21 to here, and you get ID till 35. So I just stopped getting carded now, but Paul and I had a similar experiences this year when I brought my boys for a first day of school. Brought them to get a haircut at the barbershop, and one thing with this whole lockdown, I used to drive to Miami and get my haircut. An hour and a half away just to get my haircut, spend the whole day there, just because like once you find a good barber or an accountant and a doctor, you just never leave it, right? So, but when that all shut down, I just stopped caring, and I just Crystal, my wife, started shaving my head, or not shaving my head, cutting my hair, and it looked fine. So this was my first time back at this regular barbershop. I was just like, yeah, whatever, I'll just go in there with you. And the guy's like, how short do you want at the top? I was like, yeah, definitely shorter than this. Don't shave it or anything, but the way I mumble, he probably just heard I start shaving, so he just starts shaving my head. I'm in the awkward stage now. It's growing back a little bit, but yeah, I had a shaved head, and as a 40-year-old dude with a shaved head. So Paul, I can empathize, man. I think we had similar experiences with our last haircut. We could go. We're getting into character for Willow too, man. We're getting into character for Willow too. So shave the head. I'll bring back the mustache. and I'm still on the upswing, growing, gaining some weight. So I can be the bully, that big fat bully guy.
Yeah.
You could be me, gosh, because you're the nicest dude I've ever met in person.
Oh.
Sophie, who would you be? Who would you be for Willow too?
I've got two in my head.
She should be the grown-up Elora, maybe.
Oh, I like that. I didn't think of that.
There you go.
I was thinking I would be the mum, and the one that's kind of fighting people off at the same time.
There you go. There you go. I'm loving Willow. I'm loving this chat.
I do want to say, oh wait, bear with me. Oh, there we go. Willow's wife. Now, does she look a lot older than Willow in this? Because I think she does. And it does show quite a bit. So obviously you've got really, really, really young Warwick Davis. And how adorable are his two little children? They're so cute.
I think the world of them, don't they? Yeah.
It's adorable. But then when they've got the big baby, Laura, it's like, of all people, why would you bless her? Why would you pick Willow? He's got such a job on, hasn't he? He has to carry her, and she's going to be a ton, because it's not like a normal baby he would carry.
No.
And the fact that he has to rely on other people like Mad Madigan, who's obviously sometimes can be unreliable because he's thinking elsewhere. And it's like, well, how do you actually expect Willow to look after you when he's actually unable to fight for himself? Like, if somebody a lot taller and bigger comes towards him, he's not really going to fight the battle. But I think it's because his heart is in the right place.
Lord of the Rings, same thing. Why did Bilbo get it and then Frodo get it? Same type of deal, right? Yeah. So, and I think when you're in those crazy worlds, like your Lord of the Rings worlds and then your Willow worlds, it's more important to have good character and good heart than it is to necessarily be the greatest swordsman in the history of the world, I guess. So she knew that he would do whatever he could to get there, and that's probably says more than anybody else that could have, but probably wouldn't have.
No, because like you say, if it was just a straight cut, I'm the greatest person ever, like you say, a swordsman, and I'm going to take care of the baby and like take it to where it needs to go. That'd be pretty boring if it's just like, oh, just put the baby down, just kill these people, right, let's carry on kind of thing. Whereas, because obviously the size of Willow and everything, it's kind of like he's got a bit more to contend with the big world. Like he's like, he's scared of the trolls and stuff. And it's like he kind of bring that up, and it's like, when's that going to come into play? Kind of thing. You're waiting for those moments where he's kind of like, oh, this is out of my comfort zone a little bit, and got to deal with all these new things. He's never really left the Shire, I guess.
Yeah, it's like that, isn't it?
So
exactly. And you'll never look, if you watch that movie again, you'll never look at those houses again the same way after watching that.
No, definitely
not.
We won't. Telling that they were all having orgies and then
there must have been a good like rap party in there, at the end when they finish filming, right? Get the booze flowing and God knows what else.
Yep, 100%. There must have been. And so that would have been like the sixth thing that would have ever stuck in front of my head that I couldn't get it out from Willow if I had to see that thing. So glad that didn't make the cut to make it a PG-13 rating. Right?
Yeah.
So John, how old were you when you first watched this film?
Do you remember?
I was born 81, so it would be 7 or 8 years old, something like that.
Really? So, and were you scared of the dogs or anything like that?
Oh yes, super scared of those things. Would give you nightmares. That's why I say, like, if someone says there's a barking dog over there, like, is it scary as Willow? Because don't talk to me then if it's not as one of those Willow dogs. It's not that scary.
No, they I don't know if they were like people in costumes or something, because they almost ran like they were actual alive. Obviously they weren't, because obviously they were in like costume makeup, whatever.
I think they were dogs with like stuff on them.
Yeah, because they moved pretty well. They looked genuinely like those could exist.
Yeah,
which is kind of scary. Yeah,
definitely, because to me it looked like a big rat.
It's another Twitter. It's another trivia thing right there. Do you guys have a Twitter, or how do people find you on socials other than this? Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter and Instagram. Yeah.
So I guess someone can help us find out what type of dog that was in there. You can just tweet at SP Film Viewers on Twitter or Instagram. So definitely a golden nugget. Or if there's any other trivia that we should know, tweet up SP Film Viewers for sure.
Definitely. But thank you so much, John, for saying to watch Willow, because I would have never known either Willow or Lord of the Rings would have been copying one another. Would have never known that.
Yeah.
And it is such a light-hearted film. It's good morals. It always tells you, to kind of go with your gut. It shows that somebody who is not maybe we like an underdog, don't we, in the UK?
Definitely.
We love a good underdog, and that's what Willow is. He's going to struggle for it, but in the end, because he works so hard, his outcome is basically what he wants it to be, or more, to be fair. So I think it's one of those really enjoyable watches. Definitely. And for its age, it's still not aged that badly.
No, because like I say, you look at some of these films from back in the day and you're thinking, oh, that's a bit ropey and stuff. But I'm actually surprised. I hadn't seen this in a while myself. And I was kind of like, because obviously, like, you keep come back to the Lord of the Rings, but it kind of like that kind of trumps it by tenfold, really, as to like with things and themes and everything. But this did surprise me, like, oh, well, this is actually quite enjoyable as a watch, and just a more like a truanced version of it, really, in terms of like the tones and themes and everything that's going on with it. But and like I say, it holds up pretty well in terms of effects and stuff, to be fair. You could argue, be like, oh, this is going to be really rubbish. It was 88 and everything like that. But no, I was really quite shocked at how much I enjoyed rewatching this.
And Warwick Davis acting is really, really good, actually, for a younger actor as well. So obviously I've seen him in Harry Potter. What else have I seen? I've seen him in quite a few things, actually, to be fair. And at early stage of his career, it's a brilliant way to kind of see somebody. I love that, because I think we did that with Jennifer Aniston. Was that
was Leprechaun.
Yeah. And that was not the greatest film. So to see where Warwick Davis started.
100%. And Willow, it's one of those things that it's primarily British cast. So obviously you have your Val Kilmers and you have that wizard dude who's an American dude, but it's primarily British cast. So it's one of those that was like a hit over here, like right away, right across the stuff. Lord of the Rings, another one, right? Primarily British cast, and just a huge hit over this place. So it's good, and I'll never forget that. I've looked since, and it looks like all those people. I mean, I've seen Warwick Davis apparently became rich off of gathering a collective of dwarfs or little people or underrepresented people to become actors and things like that. And he kind of like controlled that little world and stuff like that. So I've seen a lot of these characters from Willow, which Willow was the other than the Wizard of Oz, it was it's still like the second most film that has little people or dwarfs in it still to this day or something like that. And Warwick Davis was a big part of gathering all the troops from England that he had worked with at the what is it called again?
Pantomime.
Pantomime.
Definitely will be for sure.
Yeah.
Because I think that's probably where it started off, wasn't it? Because you do have the kind of dwarf within the pantomime. It is known that there is always
part of it,
Whereas Lord of the Rings didn't use that. Lord of the Rings used regular people and just made them look small, right?
That's right.
But Warwick Davis has been hugely instrumental for little people actors and actresses.
Definitely.
Commendable. All right, so what do we give this as a rating?
Oh, so normally what we do is we let the guest, cruelly as we are, go first.
All right.
And then me and Paul think, how harsh do we want to be? What did they score it? And we have a score in our head already, don't we, sometimes?
Yeah.
Unless it's Sophie and then she wings it.
Yeah, so John, let's go first. So it's out of 10. So
what is a number? What is a 10 for you guys? What's something that you?
Well, for me personally, the Shining is a 10 from me.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a high bar for me.
For me, it is Singing in the Rain.
Okay. All right. Again, Willow. I mean, I don't know if there's any perfect movie, right? Because there are still things that, like I said, there's lines from Warwick Davis that just like annoy me when he says the way he says Med Mardigan, and just
you did say, Paul. Actually, they should have used a less
shorter. I kind of wish he had a shorter name, like even Mardigan would have been a fine. Mad Mardigan is a bit of a long mouthful.
I think it sounds so cool, and I'm annoyed that I didn't name like my dog Mad Mardigan or something. That would be the coolest name. But so I guess you can't get anything from me, at least I'm not thinking anything 10, but this is up to, I'm going to give this a 9.4, Willow.
Okay.
is high.
That's a high benchmark.
That is high. Is that due to watching it at such a young age as well? Do you think it's nostalgia?
Yeah, it's a story. It sticks with me. I didn't have to rewatch it. I haven't watched it completely in probably 20 plus years or more than that.
Wow.
Right. So, but I can still name Sorsha, Migosh, right? All of these different things and these different scenes that sticks with you. So if a movie does that to you, there's got to be some level of good, because at the end of the day, especially now, there's so much stuff out there that you don't remember other stuff. So when Paul and I were I was throwing out ideas. Scott Pilgrim was my first idea that I threw out there, but since you guys had already done it on episode like 50 or whatever the heck that was, this was like one that just popped in my head, and I think so it's got to be high up there. I wouldn't have picked a 6 for this stuff, but yeah, 9.4. Now, you would hate me if I picked I don't even like that movie, right? So I had to pick something that I liked.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, we always want the guests to have something, unless they want to absolutely rip on something that they just they absolutely hate. Just want to talk about it and just vent. But no.
I love the 9.4 as well. Very, very precise. What would have made it a 9.5?
Not Warwick Davis talking.
Warwick Davis had a couple less annoying sounding lines. It probably goes to a 9.7, probably. If
okay.
I love the scoring. I love it.
Yep.
I'm going to throw you under the bus now and make you go.
Okay. Right. Okay. I feel like it's going to be I can't really put it up quite that high as you, John, unfortunately.
You're looking like you're breaking his heart.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be this is really rubbish or anything like that, because it's not. It's definitely a benchmark of a light version of Lord of the Rings, I suppose you could class it as. For me, there's not a great deal of nostalgia for it, unfortunately, because I mean, there's something like Dark Crystal or something like that, or maybe even Labyrinth, perhaps. The Jim Henson Company kind of stuff was stuck with me a lot more when I was younger. I kind of grew up with that. My mum showed me Dark Crystal when it was quite early years, and that's kind of, I love that film. So that I guess kind of has that sort of charm, whimsical charm in a way, but it's the dark tones to it as well, which this kind of has. But for a basic watch of a film and everything like that, it's serviceable, but okay, cut to the chase really of it, and I'm going to give it 6.
Oh my god, you peck.
Maybe 6.5, I'm not sure, but
all right, take it. 6.5.
I'll be generous.
Official record. I want to see the spreadsheet with a 6.5.
Yeah.
All right, Sophie, what do you have?
Okay, I'm a bit generous than Paul, I'm not gonna lie.
It's only just because it's sad that the Lord of the Rings stuff is more ingrained for me, and those films will be going on 9s, 10s for me, because that's something I've just grown up with. That's more thing I always enjoy watching them, even though they are so long. But I was they both
fill different needs. Yeah. Lord of the Rings 10. If you say you can only watch Willow or Lord of the Rings for the rest of your life, I'm picking Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
11 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
They just serve different things, and a Sunday afternoon, a movie that's lighthearted, but has some action and all those things. It fits that genre in a nice way.
Yeah,
so I'm not trying to sway your vote anymore. But,
But not to throw shade on it. It's not this is really rubbish, I think, but it's just more a basic enjoyment, really. I can't really give it more. I enjoyed it. To watch it again. It was on something I thought Sophie would probably like this. So before you even suggested it, actually, I was kind of looking through the other day on Disney Plus and going, Sophie would probably like to see that actually. I'm interested to know what she's actually got as her final score.
I think I would have loved to have seen it the way John has seen this, so seen Willow first and then seen Lord of the Rings. I think because you've seen Lord of the Rings, you've got this such high expectation, and then you can kind of think that this is being copied. And it hasn't, obviously, clearly for the filming perspective, because obviously Willow comes first. Yeah. And I think it's one of those where if I had have not seen Lord of the Rings, I would have probably thoroughly enjoyed this so much more than comparing. just because obviously Lord of the Rings, it's got technology, it's got the fighting in it. It's obviously, like everybody's been saying, you would probably pick Lord of the Rings over Willow.
It's got more time to develop stuff.
Also, for me, I love, and John's going to laugh at me, my favourite character is Sam Wise Ganji in Lord of the Rings. I love him to bits. He's got a heart of gold. Maybe it's because I can see Paul in him. Maybe that's what it is.
There you go.
So maybe that's why he just always wants to help somebody, and I think that's just brilliant. However, the guy in Willow, I can't even remember his name, and I know John mentioned him.
Migosh.
See, he is similar, but he's not a Sam, if that makes sense. He doesn't seem to have that progression of Sam where he's there constantly. He actually, in the end, goes, right, okay, see you later, Willow. I'm going back home because I miss my family. Where Sam carries on. He's there to the end.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I got you.
Part of the elements of that, obviously, Mad Mardigan is my favourite character. He is the eye candy of Willow. Something nice to look at, and best character progression. I can't really link him to, I think he's a more standout version, maybe Aragorn, but he's still he's got a better character, I think, as Mad Mardigan out of everybody within Lord of the Rings. He stands out the most for me, and I think he actually makes Willow more than possibly Warwick Davis does. I don't know if that's harsh. So in all, I think it's going to be a 7.5.
7.5. So an average score of 7.8 of all three of us. So I'm glad that I threw my 9.4. You know what you said, what would have got to a 9.7? Knowing that you guys rated it so low, because on the spreadsheet, I mean, that would have not thrown that up to 9.7, just so it gets over the 8 on your spreadsheet, because I'm sure Love Actually is on there, and like if I saw that spreadsheet and Love Actually was above that, you know, I don't know, I might start a competing podcast.
The funny thing is, it definitely
is. Because that's if you listen to, again, if people haven't listened to it, go listen to it, but that is the first film we ever watched together, so that's a big place in our hearts for that film. So there's obviously that connection, deep connection there,
even though it was a bit of an awkward film to watch the first time together, because there's a lot of scenes where it makes you feel a bit cringy when you've only just started dating.
British cringe, but yeah.
Have you seen Love Actually?
I don't think so.
Please, when you have time, because I know you're so busy, even if we have to be with you to force you to watch Love Actually.
Well, if it's awkward for you two to watch it together, what would be for me?
It's fine now.
Like where I sit in the middle of the couch, Paul would be in the middle here of the couch. Like, come on, that'd be weird, right? So, I will do that. If you have me on again, I'll watch Love Actually, and I'll give you my take on it, and we'll go from there. But
also, it'll be non-biased, which is good, because we are definitely biased scoring on that one. To be fair, I used to not like Love Actually before I met you.
Oh, there you go.
There you are.
Well, this has been fun. I appreciate it. I had to force my way into this because it is such a hot podcast to be on, and you know. But now that I know, I had so much fun. I won't be shy about asking to jump on it again. And excited. I'll be waiting for that 100th episode coming up.
Oh, I can't wait for that. I don't know what's in store yet.
You guys got to review what you've got. 100 episode is huge, so you got to be reviewing all the cool stuff. I mean, my favorite episode of you guys, the Scott Pilgrim for sure, because it's a different take on it. I respect it. I respect how deep you go into it and stuff like that. I like the anime episode. We had that girl on from Japan. That was a good one. And then you had a dude on named Mike or something like that, which were good. They were pretty good episodes, because those are films I'd never heard of, so it was interesting to kind of understand a little bit. And then the Scott Pilgrim, I'd heard of it, so it was a good little mix. So lots of good episodes you guys got cooking over there. Hopefully this one was okay.
It's a lot of fun to talk about this with you, John. Really good insight for especially the orgy fact. So definitely, I wasn't expecting that one.
Look it up. Yeah, me either. And the audience is okay with that stuff. But it was fun, man. We'll check. You have your little animated characters. We'll do some animated stuff like there where they can find it on Food Fight Studio and certainly SP Film viewers and things like that. So
so
that we'll put that into motion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in terms of we're on Instagram as SP Film viewers, but me and you, John, collectively as Food Fight Studios, we are also on Instagram, aren't we? Is it it's Food Fight Studios, all one word, isn't it?
Yeah, Food Fight Studio with no S, and the reason is I got the name Food Fight Studios, but there was like a glitch in Instagram. So like pick your name, Food Fight Studios, and then it was like the thing froze. So when I went back on it, was like, that name's already taken. It's like I just took it. So that's the inside. So it's almost like a Ron Howard orgy type thing. This is like the Food Fight Studio, not the orgy part, but this is like the golden nugget was why we're only Food Fight Studio. Yeah. And it's because it was a glitch in Instagram. So there we go. That goes for our IMDb page. So and in the next month or so, I don't know when the awards are, but people should be tuning in for your Emmy nomination for the Wyclef Jean concert at the Apollo Theater, and that's official. You're an Emmy nominated animator, so that's exciting. So
that is amazing.
Tune into that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. And the work that you guys did on that is absolutely fantastic. It's brilliant to see everything that you do. I always am in awe because obviously I can't even draw a stick man. So I don't even think Paul could actually probably teach me to draw, even though you are good at it. My artistic skills do not flow out of my hand or pen, should I say. But everything that you guys do in Food Fight Studio is brilliant. It's always funny. It makes you laugh. It's colourful, eye-catching. And so definitely go and check them out. They are absolutely brilliant, and I'm so glad you work for such an amazing company.
So do I.
Yep, good stuff. Love it. You are the head character designer, man. So been a big part. We couldn't do any of this stuff without you. So lots more cool stuff to do. So excited to see this SP Film Viewers thing take off. I remember when you said you were going to do your first episode. Now you're pushing 100. So good stuff, guys. Proud of you. Appreciate it. And I will. I'll catch you now that there's no more lockdowns and stuff. I'll catch you guys out there at some point.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to do that.
Yes, thank you very much, John. Thank you very much, John, for coming on.
All right, you Pex, and I'm talking to you, Paul, twice because I would never call Sophie that. So we'll see you guys later.
Yeah. So make sure you go and check out all our other episodes, of course, especially the ones we've been talking about, the Scott Pilgrim and Love Actually and stuff, over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and wherever else you might get your podcasts from. And of course, we are on the social media platforms of Instagram and Twitter under the handle SP_film viewers.
So definitely check us out, but also check out Food Fight Studios. I can't hype them up enough. And I'm so grateful that John's been on our show today. And I'm so sorry it's taken this long for you to be on here.
And we do have a Buy Me a Coffee page as well. So if you feel like you're generous and give a donation to our cause, that'd be very much appreciated. Or if you just want to leave us a nice little review, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser, that also helps us get up the ranks and get our show seen on for everybody else to see. Because, we are approaching 100 episodes and we'd like to keep it going 100 more or maybe more.
That works. And I'm so glad that you guys aren't like rating the Willow podcast, because you wouldn't give it 5 stars. So I'm glad there's no Willow podcast. And then buy the shirts, man. The shirts are very comfy. They're badass. So everybody should be buying those shirts.
Yeah, represent. So thank you very much, guys, for listening, and we will speak to you next time.
Speak to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.